Thank you guys for coming out. You guys could be doing anything, but you are here with us. Shout out to WFPR Radio and our co-sponsors, the SPU Bookstore and SGA and the Powwow. I'm super excited for the guests that's about to be coming out. We're going to be having a live discussion, a Q&A, and then following the Q&A, we'll be having a book signing right on the first floor, and you guys have wristbands, so you all will be getting a free book. Yes, everybody gets a free book, so I'm super excited. The hashtag is #See The God SPU. You guys can use the hashtag. Have any questions? We'll be having a Q&A following after that, so get your questions ready and all that good stuff. And without further ado, you might know him from Power 105.1, the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. You might know him as, you better put some respect on his name. And then God has so much inside. I've looked up to him for a very long time, so to even be in the same presence as him every week is truly an honor. I'm so happy to have this man come to St. Peter's. He could be anywhere. He is extremely busy, and he is here right now. So make some noise for Charlamagne Tha God.
St. Peter's, what's happening? What up, Shantia?
How are you, New York? Oh, let me add, New York Times best-selling author.
Yep.
How's that feel for you? Has it hit you yet?
I honestly haven't really thought about it, because like when I create, I just try to create dope content, and I don't really think about what's gonna happen after I create the dope content. Like I get more excitement from like people reading the book and telling me that it's dope, you know. But everything else that comes with it, New York Times bestsellers list, you know, maybe turning it into a movie, that stuff is great too.
Has it felt like emotional, kind of? Because like you're not emotional, you're a Cancer, but like you're emotional, but like, you know, yes. I'm a Pisces, so you know, but you're emotional, but like, all right. So how does that feel for you? Like, you know, the whole process, like starting from just having it as an idea to like seeing all this.
Yeah, I mean that's the best part about it. The best part about it is just actually getting the work done. Because you know, so much depends on execution. Like everybody in here probably has good ideas at some point in their life, but if you don't actually go out there and execute that good idea, then it's just a thought that just lingers in your mind. It's like a fart. Like you fart and then it just, you smell it and then it goes away. Like you gotta execute it, you know? So that execution, it feels good.
Right. So over the years, you know, you've done as an unpaid intern, Wendy Williams, Power 105, you're doing so many other things. But before all that, you were just young boy from Moncks Corner, South Carolina.
Yep.
Just with a dream.
Absolutely.
So for you, from that point, what kept you going from that point on?
It's just that feeling, that desire, that knowing that there's something out there greater for you. Like I always felt like that. Like I always felt like it was something out there great for me. Like I knew that I wasn't utilizing my full potential as a black man on this planet, and I just knew that I should be doing more. And when I say doing more, it wasn't even necessarily like, you know, radio or TV. When you're laying around doing nothing at all, yeah, you just know you should be doing something. Like it has to be more to life than this. Like my father used to always say, you're gonna end up in jail, dead, or broke sitting under the tree. And I just didn't want to be in any of those positions. So it's just like that is what fueled me to really just strive to do something.
Right.
Like I just didn't want to do nothing. Like there's nothing worse than doing nothing. Like just wasting your life away. That is so whack, because you only get one at the end of the day. And you know, you don't want to be that 40-year-old guy thinking about the 20 years of your life where you did nothing but Netflix and chill and play Xbox all day long and waste your life and smoke and drink, and you like, yo, what happened? You can't press rewind.
Right, and then you lost a lot of friends. People don't know, you lost a lot of friends along the way within your whole process and your journey. But in the book, you know, you mentioned like, you know, the upsetting, you lost these people in your life. But like from an emotional standpoint, like were you even able to mourn? Because you were chasing your dream, trying to be a top radio personality and just do something with your life. So did you even get that chance to even process it?
I'm a sociopath, man. It's like I don't even think about it. Like I mean, I think about it, but it's like my thought process is the world keeps spinning, so I got to keep going through. Like that's how I honestly feel. Like no matter what you're going through or what happens in your life, like you can't stay down for too long, because the world is gonna keep moving. Time is gonna keep going. You're gonna keep getting older. Like everything to you, your world has stopped completely. You're like, oh my God. But then you look outside and you realize, no, things are still going. So you gotta get up and go too.
So how's your dynamic been with your family over the years? Because you know your dad, he was hard on you growing up. Your mom, she was tough on you too, but definitely not your dad. So you guys still have a good relationship now?
Absolutely. Or? I love my pops. I can't even say my pops was hard on me. My pops was a father. You know, that's what fathers are supposed to do. Fathers are supposed to be hard on their kids, especially when you got a little bad son. You know what I'm saying? I was a little bad kid, like in all through school. So it's like he provided me with that discipline that I need, and that's why I tell, you know, younger people, always listen to your elders, man, because everything that you're possibly going to go through in life, they've already been through twice, maybe 3 times. So it's just like a lot of times you think they're being hard on you, but they just know the path that you're going down, and they know where that path leads, and they're trying to get you off that path. So everything my father ever told me when I was younger absolutely positively came true. So if I had listened to that advice way earlier, I may be a lot farther than I am now.
So does it annoy you when you see like young artists come up to the Breakfast Club, like I'm not gonna say no names, you already know, just thinking they know everything, and like you try to put them on game and like they still don't get it? Does that even, how do you feel about that? Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me, because when I sit there and tell them in the interview that they won't be around next year and they're not around next year, they're like, oh, Charlamagne the Prophet. No. I've just seen this before. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why I have a principle in my book called Give People the Credit They Deserve for Being Stupid, including yourself. And that's basically the know-it-all, knows-nothing chapter. Like, I wake up every day and I'm receptive to new information. I'm receptive to new people, because new people will come into your life and tell you things that you may not know to help you grow farther. So I'm too dumb to be closed-minded. So whenever I see somebody come to the radio station or anywhere, any of those new artists, and they're closed-minded and they think they know everything, I just know they won't be around. They won't last long, because there's no evolution in thinking you know everything. If you know everything at 20 years old, then what's up?
Like, what are we doing?
Why you don't run the world? Like you're not gonna last like that. Like, you gotta be constantly open to new information.
Has there been a time you've seen an artist at the Breakfast Club and you've seen them look like they're going down the wrong path, and you're like, you know, let me talk to this young brother and really give him some real knowledge?
Yeah, I try to all the time. I mean,
who specifically?
Man, I do that with Kodak Black. I love talking to 21 Savage, but you know, those guys like that, like a guy like 21 actually knows what he's been through in his life, and he's already trying to get on the right path. My thing with those guys like that is a lot of times the music that we hear them making is about 4 or 5 years behind where their mental process is. So a guy like 21 is fresh out of the street, so that's the type of music he's making, but he already understands he's in a better position. He already understands that God put him in a position to do something with his life, so he may be a little bit mature than his music, but his music is still influencing the youth. So it's good to hear guys like 21 get on there and say, look, my mind is someplace else right now. I'm growing, I'm evolving. Like, I don't glorify that street stuff like I used to. Like, I want to go this way. I think it's good for kids to hear that, because a lot of times, like I said, these artists are influencing kids with their music, but their music is sometimes 4 and 5 years behind where they're at currently.
Right. Got you. So now following into that, now you have been extremely vocal about interns and being an unpaid intern. You know, you worked at Z93 Jams, and then you worked with Wendy Williams for free, but people don't know that whole process. So now, what if you have a situation when someone wants to work for you, you know, they want to do the job, and they're like, look, man, I got student loans to pay in 6 months. I need money. How would you respond to that?
Get a job. Because like you working with me because you want an opportunity. You clearly want to be in this game in some way, shape, or form. So you're working with me for the experience, for the education of working in the game. Like, you got 168 hours in a week. I tell everybody, man, that's more than enough time to pursue your dreams as well as deal with your reality. The reality is you're in school, so you're probably gonna be in school, you know, in class 30 hours a week. The reality is you know, might got student loans, or you just need some money in your pocket. So you go get a little job at Subway up the street, and you might be working there 30 hours a week, but you still got mad hours to do the other things that you just want to do. Like, if you want to go intern at the radio station for 30 hours a week, you got time. It's 168 hours in a week. If you are utilizing all of them correctly, the right way, you got more than enough time to do what you want to do, including sleep. The things you don't have time to do is all the extracurricular stuff, like Netflix and chilling, and the Xbox, and sitting around on Instagram watching crazy sketches all day long. Like, I guarantee you, if all of y'all went home right now, went back to your dorms or whatever, and y'all wrote out the 168 hours, and you literally wrote down, you know, what do you do with this time? Like, I'm in school this amount of time, I'm at work this amount of time. You're gonna be looking at 70, 80 hours like, wow, I'm really not doing nothing. I'm really not doing nothing with this extra 70, 80 hours a week. 168 hours in a week. Just think about that. That's a lot of time to pursue your dreams and deal with your reality.
Do you think social media has had an impact on people thinking that instant fame could just happen like overnight? Because a lot of people thought your success happened overnight, which clearly didn't, and you faced a lot of...
19 years. It's my 19th year in radio. Been fired 4 times. 19 years in radio. I've been fired 4 times. I just started making money, you know, the past 4 to 5 years. I think the problem is y'all are chasing fame. I've never chased fame. I just literally wanted to do something positive with my life, and I found something that I'm passionate about. I found something that intrigues me, which is radio. So I worked at just wanting to be the best at radio. Never was my mindset, I want to be famous. Never was my mindset, I want to be rich. My mindset was, I want to be the best at my craft. And I think that's the mentality that everybody has to resort back to, because that's what it's really all about. You should want to be the best in your field. Chasing fame, what is fame? Fame is fleeting. That's nothing to stand on. That's not a foundation. Like that's the problem with America today. We equate success to fame, or equate success to celebrity. Success is subjective. Success is whatever makes you happy. Whatever field you're in, when you get up in the morning and you go to that job, or you know, you might be something you own, whatever it is. If it makes you happy and you're happy doing it, that's what success is. And I think everybody just needs to get back to being the best in their field and stop chasing fame.
And now people, yeah, let's talk about that please. And now with social media also, people think if you have a verified check, that means like you on and you popping.
90% of the people that hit me with verified checks, I never heard of in my life. And I go look and I be like, why do you got a check? And I literally be thinking that in my mind, like, why do they have a check? What does that even mean? Like I don't even know what that check means. Like, what does the check mean? What does the verified check mean?
Right. And some people may say, you know, if I have this following X, Y, and Z, I should be put on TV. Or I should, that's why. How do you feel about that?
I think you're out of your mind. I mean, honestly, like I just think you're crazy. Like that's the problem. I'm telling you, fame is the worst drug known to man. Fame is ruining a generation. Like you literally got people setting themselves on fire to get likes and retweets. Like literally. Like it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like you're making permanent decisions based off temporary feelings. Like and it's not even fame. Like it's really just being infamous. Like nobody knows you. It's like, if you see this dumb dude that set himself on fire, that's what we're saying when we're looking at the video all day long, and we're looking at like, oh, these kids are stupid nowadays. So it's just like, why is everybody's mind set on fame? I really think America has done a poor job as far as like this obsession we have with pop culture, because we really think the only way to be successful is by being famous. It's way more people who aren't famous, who are successful that aren't famous, than people who are famous that are successful. 90% of these people that y'all see online who y'all think are so successful live with their grandmas.
Right. And that ain't it either.
No.
So let's get into principle 3, which is F your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, some people see that title and be like, what the heck is he talking about? So explain to everybody here what F your dreams in your book means.
Well, it's F your dreams if they're really not your dreams. And I always say, like, when you're a young black kid from the hood, the people who you see that are successful, that look like you, are usually in entertainment or athletics. So naturally, we want to gravitate towards those fields because we all just want to be successful at the end of the day. But that's really not your dream. That's just something you see working for somebody else. So being that you see it working for somebody else, you say, oh, I'm going to do that. The reason I know that is because I was one of those kids. I was one of those kids who wanted to rap. And when I used to rap, when I started off at the radio station, I'm looking at somebody like Ludacris, and I'm like, oh man, Ludacris used to work at the radio station. Then he got his rap career popping. That's what I'm going to do. But I had a mentor named Dr. Robert Evans, and Dr. Robert Evans was like, you suck at rapping. And you don't need to rap. You need to focus on radio. He said, you're really good at radio. You could be great if you just put in the work and focus on that. And honestly, that's what I did, because I was never really passionate about rap. Rap was just something that I saw working for other people. I saw people making money at it. And in my mind, I just naturally wanted to be successful. So I'm like, okay, this is how you make it out the hood. That literally was my mindset. I didn't go to college like you guys, and I wasn't exposed to, you know, just other industries. I really thought rap was gonna be my way out of the hood. But when he told me I sucked at rapping, it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulder. And I just started focusing on what I was passionate at the time, and that was radio. And now I'm sitting here talking to y'all with a New York Times best-selling book.
Okay. You know, when Dr. Evans told you, you know, like you suck at rap, you weren't like, you know, I'm alright. Like, you know, you were just totally like,
Of course, I was like, I'm nice, you bugging.
Dizzy Van Winkle, by the way, if you don't know his rapper name.
Yeah, that was my rap name, Dizzy Van Winkle. See what I'm saying? I'm so glad I said F that dream.
And how'd you get that name out of all names? You could have had anything.
Well, let the record show, I used to do a lot of drugs when I was younger. And I was sitting around one day and I read this story about Rip Van Winkle, and Rip Van Winkle was like asleep for mad long. And then he woke up, and I was like, yo, imagine I'm asleep that long, and I wake up like mentally confused, dizzy. So I'm like, yo, Dizzy Van Winkle. See, that's what happens when you do drugs, kids, so don't do drugs.
Yeah, so going into that, so you've had a lot of obstacles in your life, and you mentioned a lot within your book. Which principle was the most difficult to write about?
The most difficult, probably the first chapter, because the first chapter is a lot about my hometown. The first principle is, it's not the size of the pond, but the size of the hustle in the fish that's in the pond. And I guess, when I'm talking about my mom and dad, like I realized like how much I didn't know about them prior to them being my parents. That's one thing that none of us really realize. We all forget that our parents had a life before us. You know what I'm saying? Like we all think that, and to us, it's like we just know them as parents, but before they were parents, they were just two kids out here trying to figure it out. So I really didn't know like how they met and stuff like that, and that was kind of like that was a little difficult to write about. Only because I wanted to like when I felt that feeling of discovery, like damn, I really don't know much about it. Like I didn't want to like pick up the phone and call my mom and dad. I was just like I'd rather share that with the reader. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's a teachable moment. Like. I mean, I don't know who in here got kids yet, but I got a couple kids, married and all that good stuff. So I felt like I wanted to, talk to my I wanted to be more open with my daughters about my past, so to speak.
And when will you let them read the book, like in their own time, or will you give it to them at like once they're over 18?
Like... Thinking about 18, 19. She's 8 now.
So she got a lot of time. She's straight.
Yeah, I'm gonna let she's fresh off she's on the Judy Blume and the Beverly Clearly now. She's on that. I'm gonna let her stay on that. She's in her Harry Potter phase right now. I don't need for her to start hearing about crack sales and stuff yet.
Yeah, you were being a young savage.
Yes.
So who's the very first person that read this book?
The very.
Minus the publishing and all the agents and all that.
I think it was my wife. Yeah, it was my wife, and then it was my wife and Angela Rye actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I had the galleys. I had 2 galleys, and my wife had one and Angela got one. Yeah.
And what was her reaction when she saw it?
My wife's reaction, she liked it. She liked it. She's been there every step of the way. Like literally the first time I ever filled out an application for an internship. Like my wife was my girlfriend, and she drove me.
She drove you there, yeah.
Yeah, we was in high school, so like she's been there every step of the way. So to her, it's kind of like she knows all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So her eyes, even though her eyes were fresh, and it's good for her to read it, and like she knows a lot of the people in the book, even though I changed names and stuff like that. But it was better getting an outside perspective from like somebody like Angela, who was like, yo, this book is awesome. Like, it's dope. Like I think it's going to really inspire some people. And to me, that's all I wanted the book to do. I just want people to read the story and be empowered, because that's how I was when I was growing up, reading people's stories, like the autobiography of Malcolm X. Like that's something that inspired me when I was younger. Howard Stern, Private Parts, and it's not even inspiring you to get into radio, just inspiring you to do something. Like you gotta. I love hearing people's stories because it just sparks something in you that makes you say, you know what, I gotta get up and be the best version of myself as well. So that's just what I hope this book does for people. Right,
and there was one story in there particular. I'm not gonna go the whole detail, but it was prom night. And you kind of cheated on her a little bit.
A little bit.
A lot of it.
A lot of it.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
And how was it for her to read that? Was she like, Charlamagne? Like,
no, we lived that. That's the truth. Everything that I wrote about in that chapter is exactly how it went down. Like you got to read the book. If you read the book, you understand what we're talking about.
It's a lot, very in detail.
I've always been like too honest, like honest to a default almost. So it's like, you're not gonna play me,
right? And
you're definitely not gonna play her, because that's what the girls who was trying to do. Like, don't be coming here acting holy.
Holy, right?
Yeah, after we done had Don't do that. So, but you gotta read it. That chapter is all about living your truth, so nobody can use your truth against you. And I always say it's the Eminem and 8 Mile theory, because at the end of 8 Mile, Eminem said everything about himself that his opponent could possibly say, and it just left his opponent speechless. His opponent didn't even know what to do. So when he did that, he was done. So when these young ladies tried to come to my wife and blow up my spot, no, that's not what happened. This is what happened. But you got to read it to fully understand.
So what has been your most honest moment in radio?
Honest moment in radio? Oh, probably when the can I get a drop moment. Because it's like those guys tried to jump me the day before. And it's like I went on the radio. Like when you see me running into the building, I ran right to the microphone. Like I ran right in the studio and got right on the air and started talking about the situation. And I didn't gas it up like, yeah, they tried to jump me. And I was like, you ain't no killer, made you run and all this. I ain't do nothing. I told the truth. Like, yeah, these dudes hit me in the back of the head. I took off. And it's like, when I did that, the people who tried to set me up couldn't even use it.
Right.
It's like
you played yourself here.
It's like I can't even, like he got on the air and told everybody exactly what happened. So by the time the video came out, it's like, yeah, you get a chuckle, but you can't get on your radio station and use that and kill me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I owned that moment.
Yeah.
That's a prime example of living your truth, so nobody can use your truth against you.
Right. So when you interviewed Angie Martinez, you asked her, will there be another Angie Martinez? Do you think there'll be another Charlamagne Tha God?
No, and it shouldn't be. It should be another whoever's next. Like I don't feel like you should try to be anybody. Like I think you should try to be yourself. I think you should be influenced by people. I think you should be inspired by people, but I think that you have to find your own voice. The reason Angie Martinez is because she has a unique voice. The reason I'm who I am is because I have a unique voice. The reason Howard Stern is who he is because he has a unique voice. You have to find your voice. Like you can't try to be like the next person. Why would you want to be a second-rate version of somebody else when you can just be the best version of yourself? Like that's what I always tell people. Like everybody in here has something unique within them that nobody can find anywhere else. And when you tap into that, that's when you really start creating your own lane. Like all people like Angie did for me was create a lane, period. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole lane of, I guess, radio, hip hop radio, but I'm just on that path, but I'm blazing my own trail. And that's all I'm doing for the next generation now. I'm just opening up more doors that y'all can just run through. But you're not going to run through them trying to be like me or trying to be like Angie, but you will run through them if you find your own unique voice and be yourself.
So where do you see the future of radio right now and young personalities coming up? Because we know Joey Badass had a few words and people had a couple of things and words about that.
Yeah, I understood what Joey was saying, but that's not the way the world works. Nobody gives you anything. You earn it, and you earn it by, like I said, having a unique voice. I don't care what field you in. You earn it by putting in the work. You earn it by having the talent. There's no such thing as, all right, boom, yo, it's your turn. Come on, handle this. Trust me, when I was 21 years old, I thought I was the best radio personality on the planet. I thought I was ready to do morning radio in New York City, but the truth of the matter is I wasn't. I absolutely positively wasn't. Once I gained that experience, then I was later on in life. So it's the same thing with anybody that Joey Badass is talking about. Like you can't have, like youth don't make you ready. Experience makes you ready. And you've got to have that experience. Like, I got another principle in my book called Put the Weed in the Bag. And if anybody has ever seen the movie Belly, who's seen the movie Belly in it? Remember when DMX and Nas was at the table and the two young boys was like, yo man, we ready to quit school, man, and go out there and get money with y'all, man. We don't get money with y'all. DMX is like, man, put the weed in the bag, then get money. That's basically saying you can't escape the process. Everything has a process. Like there's nothing that you go from 0 to 60 in, no field. If you want to be a lawyer, you got to go to law school. You want to be a doctor, you got to go to medical school. You want to be a radio, you're going to have to intern and get some experience under your belt. Everybody in here needs to read Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers and learn about the 10,000 hour theory. Like you have to put the weed in the bag first. Everything is a process. You have to put the work in. Like there's no such thing as just, here, yeah, you're ready, I'm going to give you this spot. No, that's not the way the game works. So if you ask me who's going to be next and what I think about what Joey said, yeah, somebody's going to be next, but they're not going to be next by just sitting around waiting for somebody just to give up their spot and hand it to them. That's not the way none of this works.
Yeah.
None of it. You got to go out there and get it. You got to go out there and earn it. Put yourself in position. And that's why the subtitle of my book is Opportunity Comes to Those Who Create It, because y'all are in the best position to create your own opportunities. I didn't have the tools that y'all have now. If you want to if you want to be a broadcaster, you can just start a podcast. If you want to be a television VJ, you can just turn your camera on and post your videos up on YouTube. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you can sell t-shirts on social media or sell whatever it is you're selling on social media and have people in Africa buying it. Like, we didn't have that growing up. Y'all, this is the greatest era to create your own opportunity. So you shouldn't be looking for anybody to give you anything. You should be out here taking it. And the people that are already in position will be taking notice of what you're doing. Trust me. And then that's when you get your call up to the big leagues.
Right, and in your first, a lot of people don't know, but in your first year of radio, you only made $19,000.
That wasn't even my first year. I started off as an intern, and I was making no money. And then I got hired in the promotions department where I was making like $5.50, $6 an hour. And then when I started doing part-time as an on-air personality, it was still like $5.50, $6. And then when a new radio station came in the market and hired me to do full-time, my first gig was $19,000 a year. But I didn't care because I loved the game of radio, and I was getting the opportunity to do what I love, which was come on the radio every night, Monday through Saturday, 7 to midnight. Like, that experience is priceless. Just like when Wendy Williams reached out, you know, and you got to read the book because I'm saying reached out, but it's a much longer story. Yeah. But when her husband was like, yo, we want you to come, you know, be Wendy's co-host, he was like, we can't pay you, but we can give you a place to stay. I was out. I packed up a little bag from South Carolina and I was gone because I recognized opportunity. And a lot of y'all don't recognize opportunity unless it's a paycheck attached to it. But being that I knew that if I sat by Wendy for however long and did what I was supposed to do there in that position, I'd be able to write my own ticket. And that's exactly what happened.
Was there ever a point in that time you were like, you know, maybe I should try to act, you know, maybe to get some type of money or anything? You were just like, nah, let me just ride this out and see what happened. Just put faith in God.
Shut the hell up and listen. You know what I mean? You ever heard in those old mob movies, they'd be like, yo, you're in a privileged position to learn a thing or two. You know, just shut up and learn. And that's exactly what I did. I knew I was in a privileged position to learn a thing or two or three. And that's exactly what I did. And I just played my position, and I showed and proved through actions and deeds, not words and lip service. And eventually, after like a year and a half, they had to put me on payroll. And the reason they had to put me on payroll is because advertisers wanted me to endorse their products. And like, you know, clubs were asking, yo, does he do club nights? So the radio station was like, yo, we losing money if we don't sign this kid. So that's what ended up happening.
Right. And even though you and Wendy Williams fell out, did you send her a book? Did you want to, or you just like, nah, I'm off that, like, she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing?
Yeah, I'm like I say all the time, people come into your life for reasons, seasons, and lifetimes. Like, I know the reason she came into my life. It was a few great seasons, and I'm good. Like, I wish her the best. I see her on TV prospering, and I'm like, yeah, go, do your thing, Wendy. And I'm here doing my thing too. So, no, I didn't waste the postage money on sending her a book.
So, with this career in entertainment, how you've been doing this for a very long time, how have you been able to keep longevity? Because it's like you said, everybody wants instant fame, and then by you'll tell an artist, all right, we won't see you next year. You're here for 1 year, you burn out the next year. So how have you been able to maintain that?
By not being a caricature of myself and, you know, being authentic at all times. Like, you know, a lot of times people get caught up in being a caricature because they hear what people like about them. Like, oh, I like when Charlamagne made Little Mama cry. I like when...
Right. You still hear that to the day. People still call them like, you messed with Little Mama?
Exactly. Like,
right.
That happened yesterday.
Literally.
That's the internet, though. That was 7 years ago, but that's the internet. So it's just like, I could have stayed that person, right. You know? But you don't last long like that. Like that's a prime example of not being able to grow. Like, I'm not going to let nobody put me in a box. Like, whatever you think Charlamagne is, you're probably wrong. Because I'm always evolving. I'm always like thinking of some other way to move the culture forward. Like, I'm never gonna get caught. I don't think it's no value in shock whatsoever. Like, I'm not saying wild things to get a rise out of people. Like, I feel like that's how you crash and burn. Like, I've watched people before me who I loved and adored. But that's exactly what they did. Like they were shock jocks. They said things for shock value, and they literally all crashed and burned. And I feel like the reason I'm still here is because I am truly authentic. I'm not afraid to grow. I'm not afraid to evolve, and I'm not gonna let nobody put me in a box.
Right. Now, going into privilege a little bit, because the title is Black Privilege. In an interview with Jadena, you said when you create your own system, you create your own privilege. Mm-hmm. So can you explain a little bit into that, what you really meant?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a couple ways to look at that. Like, you know, everybody keeps asking me about the title of the book, and I simply tell them, I feel like it's a privilege to be black. You know, and I feel like, you know, when you're talking about black privilege, you're talking about something spiritual. You're talking about white privilege, you're talking about something systemic. And I feel like we just have access to a divine system that helps us to prosper in this country in spite of. And, you know, everybody always looks at that one definition of privilege, and that one definition of privilege is, you know, advantages granted to a certain community or persons in America. But the other definition of privilege is simply an honor to be. And I feel like it's an honor to be black. I feel like it's an honor to be a man. Just like anybody in this room should feel like it's an honor to be whatever they are. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about privilege, from my aspect of the book, that's what it means. I just feel like it's a privilege to be black. When you're talking about systemic privilege, yeah, Jadena is a great example of that, because you look at, like right now, y'all building this ecosystem at this school here at St. Peter's University. I don't even know if y'all know, but Jadena and Issa Rae went to school together. And when Issa Rae used to be putting together her little school plays and stuff like that, she used to get Jadena to do the music. And she told Jadena, like, yo, when I get on, I'm gonna put you in a movie or a TV show, because she wanted him to act, but Jadena was like, nah, I'm gonna rap. But now that Issa Rae got her show on HBO, what did she go do? She went and got Jadena now, and Jadena was on Insecure as a guest, you know, for the first season. So that's when you start creating your own privilege amongst your people. You know what I'm saying? That's when the black privilege becomes a systemic thing as opposed to a spiritual thing. Because at the end of the day, we're all we need. You know, and even here, you know, for everybody in the school, St. Peter's, like y'all gonna have St. Peter's privilege in the future. It's gonna be one of y'all that's the CEO of some company, and somebody from St. Peter's is gonna walk in, and they're gonna say they're from St. Peter's, and you're gonna be like, oh, I went to St. Peter's too. And you're gonna take their resume and put it at the top of the pile, and that interview's gonna be a little bit longer, and you probably gonna end up hiring them just based off the fact that y'all went to the same school. So that's when those certain privileges become systemic.
And what's the most, not best, but like, what's the biggest relationship you've had to grow through throughout your career, as far as a radio personality you've really grown with, and like started from the bottom all the way up? Who was that main person?
Myself. To be totally honest with you, like, I mean, because there's nobody that's been with me from day one. Like, as far as in radio, like, I've met so many new people along the way. But I say the biggest relationship I had to constantly grow and evolve was the relationship with myself. Because look, man, self-awareness is like the key to me to any type of success, because self-awareness is what allows you to constantly grow, constantly evolve, and be able to check yourself. Like, you don't always need people to check you if you're really self-aware. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're really self-aware, you know when you're doing something wrong, you know when you're doing something right, or you know when you got something that's good. Like, you have to be totally self-aware, and that's something that I feel like I've always been. Like, I've never blamed other people for the quote-unquote mistakes that I've made. And I say quote-unquote mistakes because I got a principle in my book called, you know, there's no losses in life, it's only lessons. And that's something I truly believe. You either win or you learn. And like, even when you take what is a perceived L, as long as you learn from it, it's not really an L. So I think the greatest relationship that I've had to, like, you know, just constantly, I guess, fertilize in a sense is the one with myself. And I think that's at the end of the day, your first, last, and best love is self-love, man. At the end of the day, y'all be in here screaming about day one. You only got one day one, and that's probably your mama. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, clap for that.
Like, you gotta be your own day one. So me.
So your mom, you're like your go-to person to call for stuff, or?
Yeah, but I don't like to bother her neither.
Why not?
That's just the truth to the matter. Like, you know, if I got that's the tough thing too. Like, who does the go-to person go to? Because like I'm the go-to person for a lot of people. So it's like, if I got something on my mind, I don't want to call my mom and weigh her down with it. You know what I mean? I just try to always stay upbeat, and even though your mom always knows. You can call your mom, you're like, you good?
Right.
Yeah, I'm good. No, you good? I'm good. Well, I saw you on The View, and look like? You got a little worry in your face. What does worry look like? So it's just like, yeah, but you know, I try not to wear it down with too many things.
The last question before we get into a brief Q&A is, the title of the book is Black Privilege, but originally that wasn't the title. You had a conversation with Steve Harvey, which kind of shifted it. So what within that conversation made you be like, you know what, let me just change this?
Well, the name of the book I wanted, my original concept was I Don't Give a F and Neither Should You, and it was going to be a self-help guide on how not to give a F. And
it's the truth?
Yeah, for real. So I was talking to Steve Harvey last year, and when I said that to him, he was like, no, absolutely not, Soldier. And he was like, you know, coming from where you come from, you got a lot of experiences and you got things that you could actually share with people, like lessons, principles that they could actually use. Yeah. He was like, the problem with this generation is that they don't give a F, and they need to give a F. So give them a reason to give a F. And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Right. Yeah. So that concludes the Q&A discussion. So now we're going to take a couple of questions, like a few questions from the crowd. Anybody has any? We have one of the mics. If you just want to raise your hand real quick, somebody will come to you. Just state your name and where you're from. You can stand up, please.
Michael Daniel, I'm from Roselle, New Jersey.
What up, Michael?
Charlamagne Tha God.
My brother.
Second farce out of women's ass.
I don't do that no more. That's the old me.
No, but you've really been an idol for me, especially on your come up and like where you came from, and then, like with the rap story. I wanted to know how difficult was it for you dealing with Funk Flex during that 2015, during that whole Drake and Meek Mill beef. I wanted to know what was your standpoint.
That was light work for me because, like, that was a good. That's actually a great question because I learned so much. Because I had learned something prior to that moment, it helped me to deal with that. And I don't know if y'all remember when I played the audio of Floyd Mayweather reading, right?
So wrong.
Yeah, when I played that, right, like everybody that was in the studio told me not to play that, and I was like, no, we playing this. I want these ratings. Just we go get bad likes on Instagram. Like I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. I just wanted the attention that came with it. So when I played it, like nobody at the job checked me on it. Nobody in the street checked me on it. I just felt bad. Like I felt bad. I was like, there was nothing about this Floyd Mayweather moment. Like I didn't use it to teach. I didn't use it to try to encourage other people to learn how to read properly. Like I just was just like clowning. So I felt bad. So when that Drake situation came about, those Drake reference tracks, you know, that somebody else was rapping his rhymes, I had those way before anybody. But when I got them in my inbox, I was like, I don't even want them. Just feel like Floyd Mayweather all over again. So I ended up sending them to Drake people. And I'm like, look, man, like they just sent me this. Look what happened. You know, I'm just sending y'all this. I don't want nothing to do with it. So I guess he was so like happy that I didn't go in on him maybe. And he ended up putting my name in the record. I don't got to beef with nobody after my name is in the biggest diss record of the year, one of the biggest record of the year. I won already. All I ended up doing getting free liquor all year.
How many cases you got? You got like 6 bottles, right?
Even now. People are always sending bottles to Charlamagne.
Literally.
It's like, that's how I won. I won that situation by doing the right thing, by doing what I know would make me feel good. And what would make me feel good was not playing them ghost tracks. Because I just felt like that was petty. Like, it's nothing to that. Like, I'm not into that. Like, I'm not into just tearing people down for the sake of tearing them down. Like, if there's no teachable moment or something to be learned from the situation, I'm not trying to get involved.
You have time for another question?
Hi, my name is Christian Jermes, and I'm from the Bronx.
What's up, Christian?
How are you? My question is, what has been the hardest thing you had to overcome, and how'd you do it?
The hardest thing I had to overcome, I got a chapter in my book, or the principle in my book called PYP. And I say in life you're going to be presented with 3 Ps. And you know, it's either passion, poison, or procrastination. And you know, your passion is whatever you're passionate about. You know, the thing that you go to sleep at night and it's on your mind, the thing that you wake up and it's on your mind, like that thing that you just love, like radio is my passion. So to answer your question, the biggest thing I had to overcome is all the poison that people will put in your head, because people will tell you that you can't do things, and you know, they'll tell you that you're not good at things, or you're never going to make it in this thing, and that breeds a lot of fear and it breeds a lot of insecurity, and that fear and that insecurity leads to procrastination. Because a lot of us would just be afraid to try. We'll just be afraid to try because we don't want to prove them people right. Like if those people tell us that we can't make it, in our mind we're like, well, if I don't try, and he could never say I didn't make it because I didn't even attempt it. You know what I mean? Me, I'm the opposite. I'd rather attempt it, succeed, and then throw my middle finger to that person. So it's like, so to answer your question, the biggest thing you have to overcome is just all the poison that's going to come to you from the outside world, especially in this loud social media era where everybody and their mama is telling you that you ain't sugar honey iced tea. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't wait. I can tweet out right now, thank you God for blessing me with another day of life. Somebody I don't even know from Kentucky will be like, man, I wanted you to die last night. So it's
so ruthless.
Yeah, so it's just like you gotta block all of that poison out. Like you gotta block all that poison out, all them insecurities, all that self-doubt, all that fear. When you block all of that out and you don't have that, you'll be fine.
Do you block
that's the
people
biggest
on
thing to overcome. Huh?
Do you block people on Twitter, or you don't? You just
I started using the mute button because I didn't want to. I don't never want to give somebody the satisfaction of blocking them because people get off on that. Oh, he blocked me. I got under his skin. So now I'm just at the point where I just mute people. I just like that mute button.
Solid. And we got time for one more question.
Y'all just gonna keep ignoring the white people, huh? Boy, this is so messed up. This is so messed up, man.
I'm Esther from Long Island.
Hey,
Oh, me too. Nassau County, what's up?
what's up, Essence?
I wanted to know, you said recently you found out, like, within the past few years, you became aware of, like, the trials and tribulations that Black women face at the intersection of, like, race and gender. I wanted to know how that affected how you interact with, like, your wife, your kids, and, like, Angela Yee.
Angela's different. But everybody else, yeah, it does. Because I honestly did not know that Black women were going through so much pain. I had no idea. And the reason I had no idea is because in my life, Black women have been the strongest women. Like whether it was my grandma, my mom, my aunts. And I talk about that in the book. I talk about how like when my mom was getting a divorce with my pops, you know, she used to be in the room. That's my grandma pushing that thing over there. I talk about how my mom used to be in the room playing Lauryn Hill, X Factor over and over. I just thought it was cool. I'm like, oh, my mom likes Lauryn Hill, but I didn't realize she was actually hurting. So it's not no fault of y'all. It's just kind of like what we thought. We believed that, Black women are the strongest. That's who we go to when we got problems, when we need a shoulder to lean on. So just realizing that, damn, Black women really are out here hurting. Yeah, we do need to treat our women better. We talk to our women crazy. Like it's growth. It's just evolution. It's just like you realize it and you're like, all right, when you know better, you do better. Like I can't punish nobody when they don't know better. Like when you don't know, it's just like, okay, he'll learn. When you know, but then you still choose to do the wrong thing, then that's when we got a problem.
Gotcha. Thank you. So thank you, everybody. Give a round of applause for Charlamagne Tha God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 1, 2, 3.
Black privilege!